Depends on what happens during the remand, if at all remand is done.
So also,
elections, as you said.
So, Mr. Singhvi,
Don't ask me questions, I'm arguing matter.
So, Mr. Singhvi, during the arguments had also claimed that the arrest was illegal and unlawful and should not have been done. Anything regarding that?
That is his perception.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Remand order has just been reserved its order on Kejriwal's remand. The Delhi court has just reserved its order on Kejriwal's remand, so we'll have to wait and see what happens now. Polami, continue what you were telling us, your update on what the court has just said.
That's right. The order has been reserved. You heard, of course, our colleague Nalini Sharma, who's inside the courtroom, try and get in a word from the Additional Solicitor General S.V. Raju, who appeared on behalf of the Enforcement Directorate, where he said that there has been a huge amount of destruction of electronic evidence in this case. Phones have been destroyed in this case. And as far as the prosecution's case is concerned, it has been upheld by the Supreme Court already, which is why Manish Sisodia was denied bail by the Supreme Court. So as far as their case is concerned, what the ASG has said in court is that it has already been upheld by the Supreme Court. The Supreme Court has seen merit in the arguments which have been made by the Enforcement Directorate, and hence Manish Sisodia, the former Deputy Chief Minister of Delhi, was denied bail in this case, and hence there are grounds for the arrest, of course, which has been carried out, and the additional remand that the ED is seeking, which is that of 10 days of Arvind Kejriwal.
Okay, 10 days remand is what the Enforcement Directorate has sought. That order has been reserved for the moment. Bringing in Munish as well. Munish, what are your sources telling you? What happens next now?
Well, ED is hopeful that they will be getting remand of at least 6 to 7 days, and once he is in ED custody, he might be confronted with some of the key accused in the case. But what is important here, Shiv, at this point of time is that the arguments made by the Enforcement Directorate against Arvind Kejriwal and his alleged association in the entire excise policy scam. Now, one by one, if I can go through ED's remand copy, what they have alleged that Arvind Kejriwal was not only the conspirator, but he was a kingpin. And to indicate that what ED has alleged, they also gave the statements of at least 5 people. The accused in this case, Sharat Reddy, Raghav Reddy, apart from that, the statement of one of the staffers of K. Kavita, Samir Mahendru's statements. All these statements become extremely important here because they were recorded under Section 50 of Prevention of Money Laundering Act, which means it is acting as an evidence for the Enforcement Directorate before the court. And in all these statements, these people, these individuals have taken name of Arvind Kejriwal as a co-conspirator. Second, they have alleged that Arvind Kejriwal had a meeting with Manish Sisodia, and the secretary of Manish Sisodia has given that particular statement that when the draft policy was being made, much before the excise policy came into existence, there was a meeting between Manish Sisodia and Arvind Kejriwal in presence of one of the excise department's officer. And that draft policy becomes important because it was shared with multiple shareholders, liquor businessmen, much before it came into existence. And the meeting was, according to Enforcement Directorate, to bring in a favorable excise policy so that multiple people, including the South Cartel, can benefit, headed by K. Kavita. The third is linking Arvind Kejriwal with the money trail. And this is extremely important because, Shiv, you know, it is a money laundering investigation. You have to establish money trail. Now, what they have alleged in the remand copy, that 100 crore rupees of advance bribe was given by South Cartel to Vijay Nair of Aam Aadmi Party, and the ultimate beneficiary was Aam Aadmi Party. And who is heading Aam Aadmi Party? That is Arvind Kejriwal. And where did that money go? That money in multiple parts was spent on the candidates of Aam Aadmi Party who fought Goa elections. So money trail has been established. So ED at this point of time is claiming that his arrest was completely legal. His arrest was based on the evidence and the amount of evidence they have presented before the court, which was presented yesterday also, based on which High Court decided not to give any protection to Arvind Kejriwal. On the same ground, they have asked for Arvind Kejriwal's custody, and they are very confident that they will be getting at least 6 to 7 days of custody by the court today.
Okay, so that order is expected shortly. The court has reserved its order. We're expecting that pronouncement any time now, and our reporters will be standing by. Just to speak about the political aspect and the reactions of what's happening on the ground, Polami, the Aam Aadmi Party, in some numbers had hit the streets this morning. We saw some pretty aggressive protests happening in Mohali and parts of Punjab. What is the Aam Aadmi Party planning to do now? Because it seems like some amount of custody could possibly be granted. 6 to 7 days at least is what Munish says. What is the Aam Aadmi Party planning to do? What kind of uncertainties exist?
Well, the Aam Aadmi Party will have to take a serious call considering, at the end of the day, like you pointed out, and as Munish said, they are hoping that the Enforcement Directorate is hoping that they're going to get at least 6 to 7 days of custody. And they will, of course, seek eventually an extension of remand as well. Though, of course, when the ASG, Additional Solicitor General, was asked that question, he said, let's see what happens at the moment, of course. But the fact of the matter is they will have to plan in terms of the functioning of the government. Arvind Kejriwal, of course, doesn't have any portfolio per se, but the fact of the matter is that several files do reach the Chief Minister, and the Chief Minister has to sign off on various government orders and decisions as well. Can he be allowed to do the same? That is something which, of course, is a question that experts will have to answer, because at the end of the day, some of those jail rules prohibit any sort of use of phone, signing of files, etc. Now, as far as the party is concerned, they, of course, want to take this to the streets. They want to escalate this matter. It remains to be seen how many of the India Bloc members, of course, join the Aam Aadmi Party. Could there be a mega protest, which is a joint protest as well? For the moment, a multi-party delegation has reached Nirvachan Sadan in Delhi to complain to the Election Commission about how opposition parties are deliberately, allegedly being kept away from contesting the Lok Sabha elections. But the fact of the matter is, will they be able to take this to the electorate and keep the pressure on the central government and keep, making the argument that this is a death of democracy, as they've been alleging? It remains to be seen how that pans out on the ground, because they'll have to keep that momentum up. Today, you saw them protest for a few hours at the ITO before, of course, they were detained by the police.